This is a ManeHustle Media podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Jackie O and you're listening to Militantly Mixed.
Yo, this is Rashani from the Single Simulcast. And when I'm not making you laugh or making up parody songs, I'm kicking back, listening to Militantly Mixed.
Hey y'all, welcome to Militantly Mixed, the podcast about race and identity from the mixed race perspective. I am your host, Charmaine, aka Mixed Girl Maine, and it is Saturday, June 1st. And I'm coming at you today because I have a special favor to ask of my audience. Last year on Juneteenth, I released the very first Militantly Mixed promo. And I did that on June 19th for a particular reason. One, to announce that the show was going to be released on July 5th and to make sure that people were aware of it before it was out there. And two, I released it on Juneteenth because Juneteenth is a significant holiday for those of us who are descendants of African slaves here in America. The Emancipation Proclamation was released on January 1st, 1863, but it wasn't until June 19th, 1865, that the news made its way all the way to Galveston, Texas, to let those that were still enslaved and those who were still slavers know that the Civil War had ended and emancipation of African slaves was a federal law. In 2019, I know that sounds crazy because we get our information fast now, but for whatever reason, it took 2.5 years until those in Galveston, Texas found out about the ending of slavery. And thus, the very first and oldest national celebration of the emancipation of African slaves here in America was born. I, a mixed black kid, grew up in a family who celebrated Juneteenth, partially because we have Texas origins and partially because, well, I guess I don't really know. All I know is that I was raised understanding the holiday and commemorating it with a cookout with our families every year. But as I got older, I discovered that not a lot of black folks here in America even know about Juneteenth, which was always a big surprise to me. And as I've moved around the country, which I've done a lot throughout my life, I have been surprised that I couldn't find Juneteenth celebrations anywhere. I've also lived in areas, in some cases, that were fairly white. And so it was really hard to connect with my people during this day that I grew up feeling was very significant. So that is just a mini little history lesson for those of you who don't know, but that is the reason why I specifically chose Juneteenth as the day to release the promo. Because, and this is a bit of a stretch, so forgive me in advance for thinking this way, but for me, finally getting around to releasing Militantly Mixed was an emancipation from something that I was preventing myself from doing, is being my full-ass, mixed-ass self in the world. I was told people I was mixed. I always was proud of my mixedness, but I wasn't as unapologetically mixed as I am now, which is something that finally releasing Militantly Mixed was. And I was so happy and relieved when I finally started the work last year to get the show up and running. And so by Juneteenth, it felt important to release this news. It's coming in July, and here's why, and blah, 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 blah. So I was really happy about it. But again, as I mentioned, I have been surprised by finding out how few black people have known about this holiday. And I think it's huge in Texas because it originates in Texas. It's probably big in pockets of the South, but not the entire South. And in California or northern states or Midwestern states, it's a mixed bag of whether or not people are aware of it. Last year, I even went to a Juneteenth celebration in a park in Santa Monica, California, which is an extremely white place. So I was really surprised that in this white place in LA, I could find a Juneteenth celebration. But in a black place in Boston, I couldn't. So it's with that in mind that I will always acknowledge Juneteenth for myself as a mixed black person, for the show to keep the information out there. But I don't want to just celebrate Juneteenth the way I've always celebrated Juneteenth. I want to know how you've celebrated Juneteenth. So the favor that I'm asking is between now, June 1st, and probably like June 14th or 15th, if you can send me what Juneteenth means to you as a mixed black person, I want to put you on the show. So we could do this a couple different ways. on Twitter and Instagram at Militantly Mixed. You can slide into my DMs and let me know what Juneteenth means to you as a mixed Black person, and I will read it on air. Or you can send me a recording from your voice recorder on your phone and email it to me at charmaine@militantlymixed.com. That's S as in Sam, H-A-R, M as in Mary, A, N as in Nancy, E, at militantlymixed.com. You can just send me an email with the details of what Juneteenth means to you. You can come onto Facebook and tell us in the chat, or we can schedule a time where you can come on Skype with me. I will record it and you can tell your story. I would love to hear more than just my experience of Juneteenth on the show. That's my cat. It's Saturday morning. She's excited. We play in the morning. So if you send me your Juneteenth experience, I will send you a Militantly Mixed pin and I will shout you out on the show, on Twitter. And if you send me a photo, I will shout you out on Instagram. So that's the call. Between now, June 1st, and let's say June 14th, just for safety, so I have time to cut all this together. Send me your clips, send me your stories, send me your emails about Juneteenth and what it means to you, and I will put it on the show. That's all I got. Happy Saturday, y'all.
Militantly Mixed is a ManeHustle media podcast, produced and hosted by me, Charmaine Johnson. Music is by David Bogan, The One. And if you like what you heard on Militantly Mixed, please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes and wherever you find your podcasts. ManeHustle Media. Turn your side hustle into your main hustle.